Who wins this series, Damien?
Whew, Max, listen, coming into the series, I thought the Sixers were going to win this series. For Embiid and Simmons, they've been just wonderful throughout their whole
You're selling them out after one game.
17-game winning streak and all the hard-fought series against the Heat. But, man, I got to tell you, man, I got to roll with the Boston Celtics, and here's why. Brad Stevens, who is just one of the best coaches in the NBA, his ability to identify the things you do well and shut them down has just been magnificent. And the one thing that he's done to the Sixers, he's basically shut off the lane of Ben Simmons. Because one thing that Ben Simmons can't do is shoot the rock. He cannot shoot the ball. So if you don't allow Ben Simmons to get in the lane where a lot of their offense is created, everything gets stagnated for the 76ers. Yes, we know Embiid is going to get here. There's no question about it. He's too talented of a player. But the fact that the Boston Celtics are so long with Jason Tatum, and then they got, Terry Rozier, all those guys, Al Horford, guys who can not only play multiple positions but can switch everything. I mean, that's a huge advantage for a Boston team, and the fact that they've been able to shut Ben Simmons out from getting into the paint, I think that's going to be huge for the Boston Celtics moving forward. That's going to be something that the 76ers are going to have to address, because if they can't solve that riddle, that issue, Boston Celtics is going to advance in the playoffs.
The Sixers are going to win the series. They have the two best players in the series, and they have role players who play their role very well and shoot the three normally very well. Now, they haven't shot the three very well in these playoffs, actually. Not just in this game one, the previous game one, but in the previous series. They're shooting under 25% from three in 4 of the 6 playoff games they've played. That's not normal for them. They were a top 10 three-point shooting team during the regular season. So is that all because they're taking away Ben Simmons' driving lanes? No. Is Brad Stevens a great coach? Look, probably the best in the NBA. I mean, obviously Popovich with a resume, and Popovich is the guy until someone, I guess, supplants him, or displaces him. But Brad Stevens is the guy you want of all the young coaches, certainly, and maybe he's just the best coach overall. He's a great, great coach, and it's the reason the Celtics beat the Bucks. Best coach beat the best player. It was really Brad Stevens versus Antetokounmpo. But Stevens' success can be seen like in Jaylen Brown's absence, not to mention Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward, for that matter's absence, because he gets other guys. You mentioned it, Damien. They're interchangeable, right? So he gets other guys to step up and fill that role. And so what that also means is Jaylen Brown's coming back doesn't give you an enormous premium over what you had, because they have a lot of very competent players performing well and being put in positions where they can perform well. And that'll include Jaylen Brown, but he might give you a marginal advantage over what you had. So you have to rely on not only continuing to do the job on Simmons, not only Embiid, who had admitted that the defense was no good, and it started with him, which is what you want to hear from your franchise player, right? One of your two guys, you're big, say, hey, on me. We didn't show up. We may be rusty. That's not an excuse. It's the playoffs. We got to play defense. I expect Embiid to play much better defense. That should have a trickle-down effect on the team. I do not expect the team to be icy cold from the outside. And whatever you want to do to Ben Simmons, he has a sky-high basketball IQ. He's not just a physical freak. He's a super smart rookie and really been in the league for 2 years now. So I don't think no matter what Brad Stevens does, the Celtics are going to win this series, because the two best players on the floor are for the Sixers and for the other reasons I just mentioned. And finally, Damien, it's not a coaching mismatch. This is not against the Bucks. This is, Brett Brown is a good coach. So Brad Stevens may be the guy you want, but the Sixers are also well coached. They win the series.